Everybody's heard stories about unidentified flying objects, abductions by aliens in spaceships, meetings with extraterrestrials. When they hear stories like those, many people, and almost all scientists, are quite quick to dismiss them almost out of hand. But a small yet growing number of professionals says these reports are getting too widespread for the world to ignore them anymore, and that the people telling these stories deserve a serious hearing. Tonight, Pierre Mignot introduces some Quebecers who are convinced they were abducted by aliens, and he also meets some professionals who are trying to make sense of this strange phenomenon.
This is the place. Yeah, this is the one.
17 years ago, in a campground in western Quebec, Suzanne had a bizarre experience.
Something strange happened after I went to bed, is that the sound just stopped. No more crickets, no more frogs, no more sound. And I could see some light outside. I opened the door of the tent trailer, and here there were, right above me, 3 lights, and they're not like spotlights. They're like, I could say, like shape of a triangle, 2 lights there, 1 light there, and it's blue and white smoke turning. Blue and white smoke turning, 3 times blue and white smoke turning.
She woke up her husband.
And as he looked up, I watched his face. And that freaked me out. His face, while he was looking up there, his eyes turned completely. You couldn't see the eyeball anymore. It just went white. And this is when it started. We heard voices talking to us, sort of saying that, don't worry, be calm. And after I laid down beside my husband, I told him, that's it. We're going up. We're levitating.
The rest of her memories are fragmented.
We got out of the tent trailer that morning. It was hot, and it was all sand on the ground. And hundreds of dead insects were on the ground, all kinds. Flies, crickets, bees, hundreds of them. Not 1, 2, or 3, hundreds. We could pick them up with the rake and put them in the dustpan. So I turned around, looked at my husband, and I said, see, this is the no sound last night. Here they are. But what are you going to do with dead bugs? Call the cops in 1976 and say, hey, we've seen something last night. We got a whole jar of dead bugs here. They're going to take me to the funny farm.
I could see from the corner of my eye that there was a light there, but it looked like the moon. It was the same color and about the same shape. And all of a sudden I heard like a displacement of air, just like if it was a bird taking off.
I was looking at the sky beside him, and I saw that white disk. Then I saw the red disk.
Her name is also Suzanne, and she believes that 5 years ago, she was abducted by aliens from her home in the Laurentians.
When I was looking back at my husband, I saw him looking at where you stand, and he was not moving anymore. So he was like just hypnotized, frozen there. So I turned back to look, and I saw that creature right in front of me where you stand. So I started screaming. So I ran to the kitchen, and I saw another creature standing right over there. It was about that high. I tried to run back to my husband, but I couldn't move anymore. And I started feeling like I was passing out. And I saw that creature lifting me up in the air, and I passed out, and I woke up into my bed.
I think what comes out of those 2 cases and other cases we've seen is that it's quite sure clinically that something happened. The problem is what?
Jean-Roch Laurence is an experimental psychologist with Concordia University. He's connected with a group investigating the abduction phenomenon in Quebec.
Well, at this point, there is no answer. Obviously, we can't really say, okay, it never happened. Nothing ever happened. You just created this. If we take a hard stance, we can always say, well, there's no real proof, scientific proof, that we can show you that will demonstrate extraterrestrial manipulations. But again, it's not really it's not really proven either that there isn't.
What I take is testimony from people that are claiming that have been abducted. That's basically what an investigator does. When he gets the call, he gets in his car like I do, he picks up his gears and hits the road and try to get the information.
Joanne Hetzel, 29 octobre 1993, 19h30.
Une nuit, je dormais, puis je me suis trouvée comme à me réveiller. Et puis, ce que j'ai vu au pied de mon lit, c'est deux petits bonhommes. Et puis, il y avait de très grands yeux orange, comme des yeux de chat. Et puis, je me suis levée, puis je suis allée le toucher.
Tu l'auras touché, est-ce que tu leur as parlé?
Au bonhomme? Au petit bonhomme. Oui, il me semble que je les ai parlé, mais je me rappelle pas. Je me rappelle pas de la conversation, là. Et puis, j'ai eu une marque sur le corps, et puis avant que je fasse ce rêve-là, je l'avais pas.
Joanne remembers 5 encounters, beginning when she was 9.
Demain, rendez-vous à l'université Concordia pour une séance d'hypnose, tu dirais oui?
Oui, tout de suite.
Bouge pas.
But you never walk out of a place saying that story's completely crazy?
They're all quite bizarre. So if I would say that, I would never send no one to Jean Rock. All those stories could sound very crazy. You understand? None of them comes out with a casual, oh, I met the extraterrestrial in the discotheque and we danced. It never goes that way, you know? It's always very, very, very strange.
Very often those memories are just fantasies or reenactments, created reenactments to deal with other types of traumas. On the other hand, there's the other side of the spectrum where you have very, very normal, quote-unquote, people who don't have any type of obvious pathologies, who just have those kind of memories also, and that they find disturbing.
Pour t'aider, je vais compter doucement de 3. Et au compte de 1, les images, les souvenirs vont te revenir de ce premier événement. 3, 2 et 1. Est-ce que tu peux me dire ce que tu perçois ou vois? Si tu vois ou perçois quelque chose.
Le visage.
Est-ce que tu aimerais que ce visage disparaisse?
Oui.
Est-ce que tu peux me le décrire?
Les grands yeux.
Mm-hmm.
Les maigres.
Mm-hmm. Et en descendant l'escalier, tu en as vu un autre.
Dehors.
Dehors, en sortant par la porte de derrière.
Mm-hmm.
Il était dans la porte.
Sur le balcon.
Sur le balcon. Est-ce qu'il était semblable à celui que tu viens de voir dans ta chambre?
Mm-hmm.
Et qu'est-ce que tu as fait à ce moment-là? Qu'est-ce qui se passe?
Ils me font peur.
Ils te font peur? Et tu essaies de t'échapper? Dis-moi pourquoi ils te font peur.
J'ai mal au cœur.
T'as mal au cœur.
I find out that they brought me up into the ship, and they had that examining table. There was no table.